Sometimes Forever by Soccer Mommy. It is 11 songs, 42 minutes long. Soccer Mommy, we reviewed her 2020 record of Color Theory that I wasn't particularly a fan of. I think you liked it a bit more than I did. But
I barely even
Soccer Mommy's,
remember that. Wow.
and then Soccer Mommy's one of those indie artists that I think there's some good things that she's done and other things where I thought that they're kind of depending on what it is. In that realm of Snail Mail and a bunch of other of the women artists that are on there. I mean, they're killing it in indie, but at the same time, like they are that tried and true bedroom pop sound. I think they need to start to reinvent themselves in a way, just to push the genre forward, to push themselves forward as musicians and all of that. But with Sometimes Forever, you get more of that tried and true indie sound that it's starting to wear down on me a bit to where I can get a little on it here or there. But I think for Soccer Mommy's sound, I think it's actually a step in the right direction because she really hones in on her voice a lot. And the main thing that I took from this, the production's okay, and the song and the construction of the tracks are okay. Some of them are decent. Some of them are just really bland. But the songwriting itself, like the lyrics, are great. I really really like that. So, but I'll get into to the tracks. You have Bones, the opening track, and it reminds me like of a bunch of sound. Like it sounds like we've been hearing the past 4 or 5 years of indie, and it's like, all right, it's decent. It's milk toast neoliberal centralism, so it's not going to do anything crazy. With You, the second track, I like how it has like this interesting chime work that sounds like early Coldplay, I would say, in the way like it kind of goes through, but that sound is started from OK Computer, ironically, from Radiohead in the late '90s. So it's kind of cool to hear that, and I always
Did you say
wondered if
chime?
any like not chime, but like a interesting like piano thing that's going in the background from With You.
Got
Um,
you. I mean, like to
it
me, there
reminds me,
is
it
definitely
reminds me of a chime, like how it rotates, how it goes up and down in that way. That makes
I
sense.
hear you. To me, like a lot. I mean, like, I still get a lot of that like OK Computer similarity with you, like just
Oh, for
with
sure.
the like kick
The synth.
drums in the back, the going over every sort of string strumming that you sort of get from that era of Johnny Greenwood's work. That's really nice and characteristic. All that for the better. And yeah, while you're continuing to go in the review, I'll say that I went into this and maybe my first like half or full listen to it was, oh no, this is more of that like, tried and true indie, so to speak, that Sean and I are starting to get a little bit tired of. And we were sort of like make indie weird again. We want to
Mhm.
be kind of more like Perfume Genius, for example, where it's really pushing the boundaries of what not just what we can call music, because we're not like saying make indie death grips again, but we're also saying like
Are you my
push the boundary
area?
push the boundaries of what a general like approachable album can sound like, especially in
Mhm.
indie when there's so much, probably arguably more than any genre out there right now that you can pull from. But I think the deeper you get into the album, the more kind of light experimentation you get.
And kind of, as I was alluding to with you, I was always wondering when with with the grunge throwback sound that we've been getting the past few years in indie, when they would start to not just do like literally just straight like Smashing Pumpkins sounding grunge, but when we would get like the experimentals '90s, because there's a lot of indie '90s, which is what the 2000s ended up, getting to, that I've been waiting for indie to get to. And you get this on this record, and that's where kind of like what you were alluding to as well, like the end of the record, you get a little bit more experimentation through it, and like with the lyricism and everything, and some interesting different sounds that you get too that I do appreciate, and that's where I think it's a step in the right direction for Soccer Mommy. I mean, she's young, she's what, 20 or 21, something like that. So a lot of these artists are, you know, barely in their 20s. So they have a huge room for growth to see what they're able to do. But I think that some of the records that we've been listening to recently has been giving me a little bit of hope within indie that now we're kind of stepping away from that sound, or like we've started to perfect that, and now we can fit a lot of these artists. I want them to try and get out of their comfort zone. You don't need to be in this square box. You could go into something completely different, but stay tried and true to yourself as an artist, because you're trying to create, you're trying to do stuff. But I don't want people just to go and, oh hey, like this sounds cool, let me try to make my own version of this. I don't want that anymore. And I think with her record in 2020, Color Theory, I thought it was very bland. I didn't like it that much. But with Sometimes Forever, now she got to this record where now it's like, okay, she can make good indie. She can make fantastic, like, bedroom pop, 90s grunge sound. All right, now what's the next thing? You have some interesting ideas in here. Songwriting's brilliant, but now add from that songwriting, from the piece of paper to then bringing it into the production room and everything. I want to have reach that next step of, okay, now I want to add this sound to this. Think of a sound when you're thinking of lyrics in that way. And when you have that and you could do that, that's when we could start to see indie like explode again, which it tends to do in general. But I think we're starting to get that pivot, as I said in the Perfume Genius review as well. So I think it's a good effort from her. You have, I'll just go over a couple tracks I like. With You, naturally, the second track, Shotgun, I thought was pretty good in the middle of the record. Follow Eyes, Feel It All the Time towards the end, I thought were very
I
good
really
as
like
well.
Darkness
So,
Forever. It's like that really,
Darkness
really
Forever, yeah,
grungy
that's a good
kind
one.
of turn to it. It gets a lot slower in there. Yeah, Shotgun will definitely be, I mean, like just looking at the numbers, will definitely be a favorite for a lot of people from the album as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't even see the numbers are doing that well. I never look at numbers, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's hard to avoid when I'm on the desktop version.
oh yeah, fair play on that. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
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 Shotgun like really encapsulates that kind of, you know, post grungy alternative callback thing, but that's tried and true stuff in indie. I definitely
yeah,
want to
naturally,
see indie. And I will say it's a harder time because it's a very saturated market right now, and a lot of the
super
callbacks that
saturated.
would be really good right now, like um, it's now 4 or 5 years since like 3 or 4 years since I said funk is back, and now we're almost getting to an oversaturation of funk, which I thought would be awesome. Too much sauce.
You
Can't,
never, you
can't do it.
never wanna, you never want to oversaturation of anything, whatever it is, and that's why, like as we said with Perfume Genius, I don't want everybody to do glitch pop. I don't want everybody to sound the same. That's not when we say try something different. We literally mean try something different. And it doesn't necessarily mean you need to be experimental and weird just for the sake of being experimental and weird. What we want you to do is step out of your comfort zone and see what you can create. Everybody has their own limitations. And as I said too, with like the grills thing, Damon Albarn knows what he does in his own limitations, but he keeps trying to do that one bit further, and just to see what he could do. And that's how you stay true to yourself as an artist. And that doesn't and that doesn't necessarily need to stay within one group if you want to, like we see that with plenty of people. They do solo stuff. They do groups with other people and everything, and collaborate and try to get different ideas that bounce it off of each other and all of that. So I want that with indie, and I think we're getting close to it. That in the beginning of the year, I was really disappointed and it was just negative, and now it's like, okay, we're getting closer and closer to it, and yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction for Soccer Mommy. So decent record. Um, I want more from a lot of these artists, which is good. Good. It's not like we're saying stop making music, because we have told many people on this podcast to stop making music. So there's that.
And we probably will in the members portion that we'll be getting up to very soon.
Oh
For
yeah.
Syndicate 23 members, join.syndicate23.co to get all the extra stuff. But before we wrap up this review and this episode for the week, arbitrary scale, cigarette brands. Well, what will it be?
It's Viceroys.
That's is very quick draw McGraw on that one.
And two reasons: A, hipsters; B, Mac DeMarco song. There you go.
um, I'm going to give this Paul Malls.
Palmos. All right. So
Most
random.
mostly just out of branding and which ones just feel the most like, yeah, pass me a Pall Mall, damn it.
Where are they from? What nationality is Paul Mall?
I am not sure actually, but before this becomes the has to be censored by the government for some random reason in like 30 years podcast. This has been Audioface. Like we